percent of those who occupy public office today, who went into those offices after taking the oath of office, don't even know the contents of the oath of office they have taken.
So they are ignorant of the office in which they...
Yeah, if you want, you can conduct a research. Stop any senator, stop any member of House of Reps and question him about the Constitution. Ask him and then see what his reaction will be.
So most of them don't even know their duties, their role, and responsibility in which they have been elected for.
They are focused on that duty that keeps them at advantage.
And what is that?
Whatever it is.
The Jews.
I don't know.
The money
that
comes out of it.
I don't know.
I just had to laugh here because this is interesting. 85, a whooping 85% of our public service holders, public servants, a whooping 85% are ignorant. This is coming from a sitting senator. This is not somebody who is a neophyte in the Nigerian political sphere. We're talking about somebody telling the entire nation 85% of public service power holders, public servants, elected public servants, 85% of them are ignorant. Are you really surprised why Nigeria is the way Nigeria is at the moment? Are you surprised? Because I'm not. This is shocking, but we know it because we know it by the output of what we've seen from our politicians and our public service holders. These INEC elected officials have shown us exactly what the output is. Most of them were not elected by you and I. They were elected. They were chosen by INEC, ratified by the Court of Appeal or Tribunal, and then can only give us what a rigged in elected official can do. Listen, if our person bribe is his or way into public office, it's not going to serve you and I. Never going to serve you and I. Assuming I come to you and I bribe you and I say, let me be the boss here, and you allow me, I will always dance to your tune because you have something over my head. Case in point, Wike versus Fubara. Who suffers? River State. Why? Wike says that's where his political relevance comes from. So he needs to hold on to River State the same way Tinubu did in Lagos. A whooping 85%. I think there's more than that number. But to have 85% of your lawmakers or your elected public officials being ignorant is whooping, and the output is exactly as is expected. If you're meeting this channel for the first time, please, I want you to watch till the end. I will try and make this quite analytical as possible. I will try and make it very and as analytical as possible as I can make it to be. But I want to stir this in your mind, especially if you're meeting this content for the first time. Nigeria is at a tilting point. Nigeria is at the point where it's either a make or break. And the only thing that can make Nigeria better is me and you coming out en masse to decide this time who our president will be, especially in 2027. Because for so many years, they've chosen for us our elected officials. They steal the election and they use the court to ratify their stolen elections. And the court, our judicial system, is part of the biggest corruption scandal or biggest corruption plot any nation has ever seen. Our judicial system is part of the problem, and we have to admit it. We cannot deny that our judicial system don't play a role in helping these corrupt politicians rig elections.
I don't know, but let me tell you, when you hear executive governor challenge him, let him show you where in the Constitution of the Federal Republic.
No executive governor, no executive president.
Just governor of a state, president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's what the Constitution says. And if the Constitution does not mention something for you, you understand? Because that is the how do I put it?
maybe a language of convenience,
No,
a coinage of a political coinage.
You cannot put language of convenience. Let me tell you, my brother and friend, may his soul rest in peace, late Justice Jega, was appointed a justice of the Court of Appeal. I participated in his swearing-in ceremony. When he finished his oath of office, what the Constitution say, so help me God. Then he said, listen to what he said, so help me Allah. Justice Owais is alive. Justice Owais nullified that oath because the Constitution didn't mention Allah. What the Constitution mentioned was God. So if the Constitution didn't mention executive, where did you get executive to be putting behind you and be dancing around and saying you are issuing this and that, or you are executive governor? All these are things that psychopaths have promulgated to make them feel good, in the office in which they occupy. But I'm telling you, shall we go back to your house today, pick the Constitution, try as you will, you will never see where our Constitution says a governor or a president is an executive president.
I also want to challenge you. If you're watching this, in the comment section, tell me if you've read Nigerian Constitution, if there's a place where it talks about the office of the first lady, the office of the first daughter, the office of the first son. I mean, we know for certain that at the initial start of Tinubu's administration, it was alleged that his son used to attend meetings that he didn't have the clearance to attend. And the president's daughter came up and said she's become the head of the market women all over Nigeria, not just Lagos State anymore, because INEC said her father won the election. Not because he won the election, because we know there was heavy rigging during the 2023 election. It was heavily rigged. But again, you see, our judiciary played a key role in helping to make nonsense of our constitution, where the entire world saw what happened in the election, but corruption made the constitution null and void. When this man says that 85% of our public servants, elected public officials, are ignorant, don't take it lightly. We can laugh about it, we can catch cruise with it, we can make memes out of them. But I want to endear you as well, don't make light of them. Because these people came out of their... Say, a federal senator does not get there. He goes to his local constituency and they vote him in. Or sometimes they rig their way by just bribing. So they came from you to get there. You have to make your mind up today to say enough is enough. The reason why Nigeria is in poverty is because some people design it that way so that they can give you peanuts and buy your votes. And when they go back there, they take more than what they gave you, 100 votes, 200 votes, and you lose. That's why you don't have good roads. So we're doing things out of what the Constitution says. We know the Nigerian Constitution is not fit for purpose. It needs rewriting. We need a new Constitution. But what you find out is that every time new people come into power, they see how skewed the Constitution is in favor of the office holder. They never make any attempt. Before Tinubu became governor, even when after becoming governor, they've heard how bad the Nigerian Constitution was worse because it was written by the military. But till date, Jonathan didn't do it. Buhari, of course, didn't do it. Tinubu has not talked about it. Rather, they've done national anthem. Now they're talking about adding new states. Which are you saying that's what Nigeria needs? This is why they're ignorant, because they're not looking at what Nigerians really need right now. They think that of all the things that Nigerians are craving for is a new state. These are all distractions. That's why they are incompetent. That's why the man says they are ignorant.
You are a leader of the APC.
Yeah, I can say yes.
Are you still a member of the APC?
Yes. I'm a founding member
of the APC.
Yes.
But I mean, what is going on today? Yesterday, I was having a conversation with former governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi.
Yeah.
And he says that there seems to have been a disconnect in what the party should stand for as a social democratic entity in what is happening right now.
Yeah.
Do you also see that disconnect? Does it look like your party is failing or has failed in delivering the social democratic dividends that it was formed to be.
Now let me tell you, Shehu, all over the world, and go and check. When we talk about political party, it comes with a constitution, with organs in the party. Until those organs are allowed to work, the party can never produce the kind of leaders that will have capacity to translate its manifestos in governance. Unfortunately for us as a country, and it doesn't matter whether it's APC or PDP or whatever, when you form a party, there are people who will come and join you. All they are looking for is ticket to contest for a given position or whatever. And because in most cases money plays some role, they have their way. I can tell you, I am a founding member. Fayemi will tell you, all the people will tell you, including the president himself, I am a founding member of APC. What APC was formed to address in this country, if we had disciplined ourselves, I'm telling you, Nigerians will not look anywhere for governance. But unfortunately, we allowed a window that allowed all kinds of people to come into the party and destroy it.
See, when our founding fathers founded Nigeria and the people who helped get Nigeria to a certain level, the vision that they had was a Nigeria of equity, an equitable nation where everyone has equal rights before the law. But when criminals take over places designed to help everyone, these are the elements that he's talking about. They make sure that those organs that are meant to help make the society work for everybody are destroyed. And by destroying those institutions, the criminals can have their way. Now, by criminals, I mean I will keep calling our politicians criminals because they're stealing. All right. Now, what we currently have is a political system that is not fit for purpose because they've crumbled every institution. The police is now crumbled, the judiciary is crumbled, and is not effective. So when the politician steals, the EFCC that's meant to go after the politician cannot do that anymore. Because of what? They're protected. They're protected. When one governor leaves power, he quickly jumps and cross carpet to the next party that is in authority, just so that he can evade investigation and prosecution. And that's how they perpetuate this corruption that they've been perpetuating for so long. That's why the likes of Yaya Bello can still be sitting at home. That's why the likes of Alison Diziani can steal so much and run away from Nigeria. And so many of them like that. The constitution needs revisiting. And our institution needs to be made stronger and better, independent of the executive interference. So that if a sitting governor is stealing, EFCC can probe that sitting governor and take. Nigeria needs to be, the constitution needs rework. We need to remove that protection that sitting governors have, where they cannot be prosecuted for crimes because they have immunity. You cannot go and serve the people and say you have immunity for prosecution because you're serving the people and you're stealing from the people. It doesn't make any sense.
And therefore, whatever good intention we had for the people, we could not translate it faithfully. Let me put it that way.
Would you blame Buhari for that?
You see, as a leader, yes. As a leader, Buhari came and became president on the mantra and the promise to Nigerians that he is going to reposition this country. There won't be corruption. Everything will work, well. But you and me know that today what we are hearing about the people he recruited to help him govern the country does not in any way, show connection between his vision and what they did while holding the office that he gave to them, what they did.
So Buhari should take the blame.
He should not
and
blame.
Should own up.
He should take responsibility that, yes, somewhere, somehow, he allowed people who did not share the vision of the party, to come into governance and therefore misled.
Did you think that some people took advantage of Buhari?
Yes.
Maybe because of his sickness or his state of health?
No.
Or you don't think that Buhari's nature?
Because of his trust.
See, whether or not it's because of Buhari's trust is irrelevant to Nigerians. As the president, the buck stops at your table. That's why we need to be very conscious of the people that we're electing. If you live in the village, it's usually the case where people from the city go and contest for election in the village because they're representing their constituency, right? And that's where they have to go to. If you live in the village, you have to be mindful because you are the people in the interland are the ones who suffer the consequences more of bad governance. And when we have incompetent hands without capacity, see, Seun mentioned, he said, is it because of his health? Capacity covers your health. Do you have the health capacity to be able to lead a nation where you will not sleep at night, where they will wake you that there's insecurity, there's fire outbreak, there's something happening that they need your attention to address? Would you have that health? Do you think you're healthy enough to look after not even your own family, the entire nation? Buhari was sick and was in a UK hospital for so many months. The man literally spent a third of his administration in the hospital. So much so that people thought he had died. And they had an imposter as a president, a lookalike. Do you know how much security threat it is when your president is out of place of authority for days, let alone for months? This man taxied a jet, Nigerian jet, somewhere in the UK, and he was in the hospital for months. The same thing that happened to the former governor of Ondo State. The man was sick, stuck in the hospital for so many months. People were ruling in his place. His deputy was not allowed to, according to the constitution, the man had become incapacitated. And nobody could trigger a vote of no confidence anymore. This is political sycophancy. This is why we have Nigeria in the state where Nigeria is at the moment. When you're voting, look at the health condition of the people you're voting. Look at Tinubu's health. Tinubu was shaking when he was contesting for election, but yet he's our president. When the man was asked to test the microphone, not taste it, test the microphone, the man licked the microphone. Tinubu licked the microphone. Do you imagine? Can you imagine that? Have you forgotten blah, blah, blue, blah, blah? Have you forgotten those things we were catching crews with? Have we seen the outcome? Leadership matter. The direction of a nation depends on the kind of leaders that you elect. When Tinubu was contesting for the election, what did he say? It was going to reduce your purchasing power. What has happened to you so far is reduce your purchasing power. People's businesses have crashed. I remember during the election, I spoke to somebody and I said, why are you trying to vote for this guy? Have you heard his manifesto? And the person told me, I prefer Tinubu, he has experience. And don't worry, I can't vote Obi. Listen, I'm not campaigning for Obi, but I thought for me during the election, he was one of the most credible ones of all of them. Maybe before, after Moyele Sowore. And the person said, don't worry. And then later, after the election, a year down the road, I said, how's your business doing? The person was almost packing up because he said, Tinubu has ruined the economy. So they're not even getting the value for their businesses anymore. And so many businesses have packed up that same way. Leadership matter. Capacity matter. The capacity of the leader you're choosing really matter. It counts a lot. Okay? The capacity counts a lot. So when you're thinking that you're choosing sentimentally based on tribe or religion, you're doing yourself. Tinubu must spend a substantial amount of his time in the hospital, whether in the UK or in France. While Nigerians are suffering, our hospitals are ill-equipped. Your brother, your sister, your mother, my mothers, our family members are the ones suffering the state of poor healthcare system in Nigeria, but they enjoy lavish ones because they can just fly their children abroad. Boom, get healthcare, get treated, and come back.
That's who Buhari is.
Yeah. because of his trust.
He trusts anybody.
No, he believed erroneously that the people he was going to work with, who were acting as first-class sycophants, were the good people. And therefore, he thought they will translate his vision into reality.
So he surrounded himself.
Yeah, that was exactly what happened. And then, unfortunately, again, he now decided to seclude himself, from those who were capable of giving him good advice to redirect his thinking.
So the cabals took over the government.
I don't want to say cabals. I will say some few misguided individuals who, really put us into this kind of situation.
The misguided individuals are the same people that your former president chose. Listen, vision. You used to hear Dr. Obi Ezekwesili say things like people with capacity, character, and competence. And this capacity we're talking about, they're not just buzzwords that you just bandy around. You just bandy those words around like boom, boom, you say them. That's what makes leadership. You do have the wherewithal to guide the nation in the direction the nation needs to go? No. Do they have the integrity enough to do what is right when no one is watching? No. Did they have the capacity? Did they have the character? They don't have the character. They got him by bribery and election rigging. So how do you think that they will do the right thing for you? They will pat their pocket, enrich themselves, and they give you peanuts, and you praise them. Hey, chairman, senator, that's my oga. That's what you will call them. But they keep stealing from you.
I mean, do you blame Tinubu for what is going on today? Because his government will say they inherited a bad state of the nation.
You see, my principle is to try as much as I can to cease to be, and I have not been glaringly a sycophant. The blame that will go to Tinubu, if any, is that he did not study the situation correctly. And we must equally admit, and he himself must admit, that there are certain little missteps in the recruitment of those he believes have capacity to help him govern this country.
Capacity. But initially he said he did not study the situation correctly. You see what he was trying to say during the inauguration when Tinubu said subsidy was gone. He's saying he didn't study it very well. He didn't have the data. He just made a proclamation. And that dropped Nigeria into more poverty. So Tinubu's administration has done more to put Nigeria in more poverty, has done more to help close down more businesses than what Buhari did in 8 years. He's done that less than 2 years. You cannot tell me the economy is growing. You cannot tell me that Tinubu made a bad economy. It's coming from his party. That's why Nigerians didn't want APC, and that's why INEC helped rig the election in 2023. That's why there was massive rigging, because they knew Nigerians didn't want APC anymore. Nigerians didn't want APC in Lagos, but of course, the numbers were doctored. Nigerians didn't want APC in Rivers State. Of course, Wike happened. Yes, Minister for FCT. What I'm trying to say here is this. We know the election was rigged. But we know that you have to pay the people who helped you rig the election so that they can keep their mouth shut. And we're not dumb.
Whether we like it or not, that is the situation. That is the situation.
So there are people around the president today who are not supposed to be around.
I am not so sure, even if he himself does not know this. And whether we like it or not, that is the truth. You see, when you want to...
And these are dangerous for development.
They are not more than dangerous for development, because...
So Tinubu may not be successful if these people are still around him. Is that the case?
Well, I don't want to... You see, I don't want to sound as a prophet of doom. I would rather believe somewhere, somehow, he will have a sober reflection of what he wants to achieve, of what he wants to be after leaving office. You understand? And decide whether the structure he has and whether the people he has around him have the capacity to make him achieve that?
Listen, let's just bring everything up now. Good leadership create good structure. From the structure, everything else is built. Good leadership is what makes the nation grow. And I want to say this first of all, Nigeria has no business being poor. I'm going to say it one more time. Nigeria has no business being poor. And I will show you why I'm saying this. Look at this. Yeah. Look at this. Nigeria has natural resources. I'm not talking about agricultural resources. I'm talking about natural mineral resources. Look at all that we have. This is not all there is. And look at the amount of states that has more than one of this. And look at what the usefulness and what we can do with them. At the moment, our dependency is on crude oil and natural gas, but we have limestone. We have tin, columbite, and tantalite. We have gold, we have lead and zinc, we have iron ore, bitumen, gypsum, salt, uranium. Right? We have all of this. Now, look at this. We still have granite, we have phosphate, we have kaolin, we have silica, we have clay, we have feldspar, we have dolomite, bauxite, iron ore, and talc. We have all of these natural resources. I want to just focus on two, just to let you know the power of two. And those two categories I want to talk about is the tin, columbite, and tantalite, and then the uranium category. We can create, if we're mining tin, columbite, and tantalite, the electronics industry, the aerospace industry, alloys, and tin plating. That alone is enough to send Nigeria into, wealth. Nigeria's columbite is one of the richest in the world. I think we have about 60% of the world's columbite resident in Nigeria, and that is in Plateau, Nasarawa, and Kaduna. Now I ask you, do you think there's a coincidence with what is happening in the north? I mean, Oshomele said it the other day, people are mining illegally. You think the reason why they're displacing people from the north and taking over their land, you think it's just by terrorism alone? This is what is happening. That's why it's so hard for our military to defeat the insurgency. Because some people are benefiting from it. There's no way Nigeria as a nation cannot defeat insurgency. There's no way, absolutely no way. But somebody is benefiting from it. Look at uranium. We have that in Cross River, Adamawa, in Taraba. We also have them in Bauchi. Each of these natural mineral resources we've talked about, they're spread across several states, with one state having multiple mineral resources. Why are we still over reliant and dependent on crude oil and natural gas? Because some people cannot think outside the box. That's why vision and capacity matters. Nigeria has no business being poor. Your children have no reason being in poverty if we have the right leaders. Your children have no reason having to go to school in the wrong with poor infrastructure if we have the right leaders. Your children should go to school and enjoy good infrastructure and learn under very good conditions if we have the right infrastructure, if we have the right leaders. We should be able to go to our hospitals and get the best of treatment because we have all the resources we need to have that kind of treatment, but we need the right leaders. So when you get up every morning at home, look at Nigeria again, look at your situation and ask yourself, if you don't fight for the Nigeria you won, you will die the way you are. You need to fight for the Nigeria. You need to vote for the right people. Don't be voting based on sentiment. Who becomes your president matters. Because the president can actually decide the kind of constitution you want to have and fight for it. Who becomes your governor matters. Don't take these things with levity. If somebody's telling you, a politician who sits in the same office as those other people tells you that 85% of them are ignorant, then take it with seriousness. Don't catch cruise with this one. It's enough. Nigeria deserves better. I said it earlier. Nigeria has no business being poor. Your children have no business being poor. You have no business being poor, except if you decide to be. But don't make that kind of decision for your children, your grandchildren. Let them be the ones to make that kind of decision. But you have to create and enable an environment where your children can make the decision by themselves and say they want to be poor. Don't ruin your children's future. Don't ruin their real future. Listen to what this man is telling you. Don't ruin their future. Your children deserve better. This senator has told you already. So when you get to 2027, look at your lawmaker from your constituency. Look at your lawmaker from your state. Look at your governor from your state. Look at the current president. Is he still going to be fit to be your president? If not, vote him out. And we have to come together as a people to vote out these corrupt politicians. We have to vote them out. Don't let them bribe you. Because for every penny you collect from them, they will collect more than a million from you back. And that your roads will suffer. So if you want a better Nigeria, if you want a better future for yourself and your children and your grandchildren, make up your mind to not be used by politicians to rig elections. Make up your mind to not be used by politicians to steal ballot boxes. Make up your mind to not be used by politicians to destroy the nation. If you want a future where your children can go to school and come back safely, where your roads will work, where your hospitals will work, where your public infrastructure will work, do not let politicians who are ignorant, politicians who are detrimental to our nation, be at the tops, at the ends of affair. Don't let them be your president. Don't let them be your governors. Don't let them be your senators at the state and federal level. Don't let them be your local government chairman. Don't let them be your House of Rep members or your local councillors. If you want your children to go to good schools, it is time to make that change so that your children can have a better future. Insecurity affects every single one of us. Insecurity affects the one who steals and the one whom is stealing from. Insecurity affects all the states in Nigeria. So if you don't want insecurity tomorrow, when it gets to 2027, make sure you vote out those people who have not done anything to help you. Look at the North. If you think this insecurity will stay in the North alone, you're joking. It's already creeping into the South. And it affects every one of us. Because the people in the North are your brothers, and the people in the South are your brothers. If we don't fight this insecurity, it will grow. This insurgency will become so bad that even our government will run away. You think it's a joke? Look at Haiti. No one is safe in the hands of insecurity. No one is safe in the hands of corruption. Corruption affects every single one of us, even the person who is the corrupt person that is stealing from the people. So when you finish listening to this, make up your mind. I'm trying to burn inside of you a desire to want change, a desire to not be a tool for destruction and rigging of election by the corrupt politicians. Let this be our mantra. In 2027, we will make Nigeria better. In 2027, we will get rid of all corrupt politicians. And from 2027, we start to demand the change, whether it's our constitution. And we have to create an enabling environment where all the parastatal, all the organs that should make Nigeria work, whether it's the police, the military, the army, the air force, the navy, whether it's our hospitals, our schools, we will try to start to make them work and demand the change. Let's just vote in people with character, with capacity, with vision, so that they can employ the right people to help them bring that vision to fruition so that Nigeria can be a better place. It is time to stop being second-class citizens at home and abroad. We only have one home, and that's Nigeria. Let's fight to make it work for all of us, not for a select few. So please, if you're meeting this content for the first time, share, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let us work together. Let us form this citizen movement to make Nigeria better. And if we do that, our children, our grandchildren, generation unborn will benefit from it. And then they will then know that it is for truth. Our grandparents worked to make this future better for all of us. Let's enjoy the benefit of why we're called Nigerians. We're brilliant people. And let us stop being led by criminals and the least of us. Enough is enough. Change starts now. And 2027, we will make that change a reality. God bless you. Bye-bye for now.